about it.
Don't talk about it. Talk about it. Don't talk about it. Talk about it. Don't talk about it. Talk about it. Don't talk about. Talk about. 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 Don't talk about what you see behind closed doors. Don't talk about business that you know that ain't yours. Better not talk about what happened in '04, but you can talk about what you hear from Canaanland Moors.
Islam, Moors, Islam. We're returned. So something happened to the modem. Internet shut off. So call up the people because, you know, after you do the troubleshooting, you know, unplug it, unplug this, plug it back in, and all that stuff doesn't work. You know, you give them a call. So gave them a call. Interestingly, got through with no problem. Didn't have to be on hold for no long period of time or whatever. And man said he's going to go do his tests. Went, did his tests. Everything is good. What's the status of your thing? Oh, yeah, red light's still on, it's flashing or whatever. All right, hold on a second, you know, going back in. Then all of a sudden, light turns green. Man's still on hold, doing whatever. So what was wrong with the thing? Huh? What was wrong? Like, you know, how come it just shut down like that? Oh, well, I don't know. It shows that you've been green the whole time, so I don't even know what's going on. All right, cool. Whatever. Just checking. Just checking just to see. Just checking. So, you know how it goes. But yeah, more. We were you were talking about something with our boys,
right.
Our boys with their nation.
Right. As the NOI looking at the aspect as Islam as being a nation. Well, like you said, that Islam can't be a nation. Now, before we even go in, real quick, let me just grab this one book. Okay, right here. In the book, The Sultan and the Queen, The Untold Story of Elizabeth and Islam, it talks about how Islam and Muslim, the terms, Islam, okay, right here. On page 20, in the book, The Sultan and the Queen, The Untold Story of Islam from Jerry Broughton, he writes, as the terms Islam and Muslim appeared in English only in the 17th century, it was terms like Moor were used instead through such, he says it was terms like Moor and Arab was used instead through such was the importance of the Ottoman Empire. So as the terms Islam and Muslim appeared in English only in the 17th century, they used terms like Moor instead. So before those terms Islam was being used, they were just saying Moor. Now, in Black's Law Dictionary, the Black Muslim, the NOI. Now, oh yeah, before I go in on the definition, Brother Enion was going in on how we should go look it up in the Black's Law Dictionary 5th edition. And I couldn't go look it up at the time because I didn't have the dictionary. So it was on my mind because I'm mad about the fact that I can't get the dictionary. So 2 days later, I go to the thrift store to go grab whatever they got in there. I usually find some books or whatever. But when I walk to the book section, I automatically know in the bottom shelf, that's where they keep all the dictionaries because they're too big to go on the shelves themselves. They just put them on the bottom rack, right? So when I go inside, so first thing I do, I look at the bottom. As soon as I get to the corner of the bottom, just 2 days later after Brother Onion was just going in on it, Henry Kimmel's Black's Law Dictionary 5th edition. Underneath it was the I want to get it right because I want to say it right. Underneath it was the Random House Dictionary of the English Language from 1956. 1966. but right next to each other, on top of each other, in the thrift store. I take a picture of it, send it to the grand sheet. Told him, look, the thrift store is bugging. I get to the counter with the books. As soon as I get to the counter with the books, the clerk, he goes, "Oh, you grabbed those books?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "I just put them out," and I was like, "What?" Look at that. I'm like, that's even crazy. Like, what? Yeah, just put them out, and I just walked in. And I was like, "Yep, that's for me." And then so he brings me up. First book, $1.05. Second book, $1.05. I said two notes and 10 cents. I didn't even care about the taxes.
Two notes. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Let's do this live. Hold on a second. Let's do this live. You gotta do this live. Just so people know we're not playing. Black Star 5th edition, you said, right?
Yep. Black's Law Dictionary, 5th edition. Random House Dictionary, 1956, second edition.
Let's do this live. Okay. Black's Law, 1st edition, $1.95. 2nd edition, $1.95. 5th edition books. Black's Law Dictionary, 3rd edition, hardcover, $5.80. Oh my gosh. Yo, remember when our books were $50, $60, $40?
Remember that? I remember that.
I remember when $60 was a hard buy, yo. You're not getting me to buy that for those $50. $50 was a hard spend. All right, 78, 77, 447, Black's Law, 5th edition. 5th edition, 636.
Look at that.
636, somebody said. Let's see what eBay got. Let's see what eBay got. 667.
That's why I was going crazy. I said
$1. Black's Law Dictionary, $1. Oh, sorry, $1.05.
$1.05. I said, yeah, I'll pay that. I'll pay the tax. So it was really 98 cents for the book.
Oh
98 cents for the book. But I said, you know what? I'm not going to say nothing this time. I'm going to slide. Because that book is worth way more than some $1.05. No 5 cents.
$1. Come on, eBay. 68. 61.
Yeah.
Oh, 70. 74. Oh, somebody has a abridged 5th edition. Oh my gosh. Abridged 5th edition. Wow. Yeah, 70 something.
Right.
Yeah, 70 something.
See the blue one? The blue one?
Yeah, the blue one.
74, 76?
Yeah.
I think that's the one. I think that's the one I got. You scrolling too fast.
Yeah. I'm an eBay shopper. I move fast on this thing. That's crazy.
Right after Brother Onion was talking about it, and I was mad. I was like, I can't believe I can't look up that.
Right?
I was just like,
no, that's the energy. That's the energy. That's the self-determination.
Right,
that's the self-determination right there. Moore said, what? I don't have that book? Man said, yo, I just put those books out. and just put those books out. Come on, yo. If he just put those books out, then those are your books before he put those books out. That's crazy. Crazy. Those are your books before they got put out. But yeah, anyways, we're going on, yeah.
Right.
So the 105.
If you wanted to, because remember, I had the Random House too. I grabbed that one. The cheapest I seen for that dictionary was 150 notes. But I spent again for that one because they were both together. They were both the Black's Law Dictionary was sitting on top of the Random House. Like literally, he put them together for me to come pick them up. Like, yep, come pick them up. They're right here for you. So the Random House is 150 right now. I got that one for 105. It's just bugging me out, man. When I went, and then I went in with my sister's husband. So when I saw the book, he knows about us being Moorish too. He's on it too. So when I went inside and I grabbed the book, right, I'm sitting there running around in the store, and he comes up to the shelf and he looks down, and I already knew that the Random House was right there. I had to look at now. He's 6'6". He's huge. I had to tell this big brother, yo, that's my book too, man. Like, yo, I don't care about none of that. That's my book too. Let me tell you right now, that Random House right there, yeah, that's me. Y'all can have everything else y'all want. Just leave my dictionary alone. Got that 150 notes. That's the cheapest I've seen it for that Random House. It's bugging me out. Now I'm gonna go in on the $1.05 1 note 5 cent Black's Law Dictionary 5th edition that I picked up from the drugstore. Brand new. Brand new too. Brand new.
Brand new.
Hardcover. It says Black Muslim, an organization of American Negroes founded in Detroit in 1930 by an American Negro calling himself Muhammad Elijah. To the traditional Quran, the founders added the doctrine of black supremacy and proclaimed the desirability of maintaining or regaining the purity of the black race. That's Henry Campbell's Black's Law Dictionary, 5th edition, page 155. My thing is, if that nation started in 1930, that's a brand new nation.
Yep. Super new. Super new nation.
And then my thing was, the thing that really stuck out to me was when he says, at the end here, it says the desirability of maintaining or regaining the purity of the black race. Now, when it said or regaining, it seemed like, okay, somebody got rid of it before.
Yeah. Like
it wasn't, like somebody got rid of that black being a race paradigm, and then now 1930 came, someone calling himself Muhammad Elijah brung back that color game.
Yep.
Now this is a long term. This is in Henry Campbell's Black's Law Dictionary for a black Muslim. If they go against this definition, that's unlawful. They can't go against this. This is their law. This is their definition in law. They put it in law. This is what we are determined in law. And they never put they never wrote anything saying, this is not what it was.
Right.
Like this ain't what it is. They didn't argue this. This has been riding.
Yeah.
So then again, when people saying saying, oh, are we gonna forget, forgive and forget what they did and just unify with them? No, they set in stone in law already that they are to regain the purity of the black race, which we know is fraudulent. Black means dead according to science. We know black means pale in etymology. We know black doesn't have an estate. We know being black ties you back into being slave on paper. But in law, according to yes, big man. Even my son even know. Calling yourself black, you put yourself back into slavery, just like little Yusuf just said. And that's why I was going. It's just crazy for people that say that they want to unify with somebody who says in law that their job is to maintain or regain the purity of the black race. You can't, as Moors, as us having and getting back our ancestral estate, with having our nationality, that'd be treasonous if we join that. You can't unify with that. You putting us back into slavery as soon as you did that.
Yeah.
This is a law term. This ain't that's how they feel, or what about this? And no. In law, a black Muslim is someone whose desirability is of maintaining or regaining the purity of the black race. That's a law term. That's law. And they hold it, and that's why when Moors come approach them, they know this their stuff. That's why when Moors come approach them, they standing there, and you until you leave, and that's it. Then when you leave, they debo you and be talking again. They got mind control. They got mind control over the Moors. When they leave, they be talking again.
Straight up.
Playing these games. Look, right? So big thanks to Brother Indian for bringing that to their attention and bringing this energy into my sphere so I can get my Black's Law Dictionary. Because I'm telling you, if he didn't bring that up, my dictionary wouldn't have been there.
Yeah.
You know, Moors, we always give it back to the other Moor who the reason why I got it.
Yeah.
The brother out here, he's the reason why I got my dictionary. He put that out there in that energy.
Put it in the universe.
And now I can see it clearly. These people started in 1930. Like Anwar Majid said in the book We Are All Moors. 1930, after he stole 120,000 members from Noble Drew Ali.
Mm-hmm. Stole.
Now they should compare and contrast Black Muslim to the definition of Moor in the and we came with Black's Law Dictionary.
You know, they're not doing that. They're not even going there.
And you see who sold who out. You see clearly who sold out.
Straight up.
You see clearly. You see, okay, he tied me back to nothingness with playing this black race game, and the Prophet bringing us back, us being Moors, tied us back to the planet.
Yeah.
And it said it right in law, regaining. That means it was gone, and they went and got it back.
Mm-hmm. Regaining the purity of black, which would mean that they're impure then. If they're trying to regain the purity, then black must be impure.
Yep.
Or why would you be regaining it? Trying to regain the purity.
Yep.
obviously there's no purity there because it means dead.
That's right.
And they were taught this. That's why they can talk like that. And that's why they're never going to refute that Black's Law definition. Because they're part of that. So they have no say. Even if they're going to say that's not what it means. You have no say. Right? Yeah, so we're doing the questions right now. So, Brother Malik, it has been expressed to me that due to the mother of my children being of European descent, they can only be more subjects through naturalization. Seeking more info. Well, instead of Moorish subjects, I would say amalgamated Moors. You know, so we go to the thing of Drew Ali said, don't amalgamate or whatever. But if you're a Moor and she's a European, then really you civilize her by bringing her back in. You know, so you must have been one of the Moors from the harem from back in the day. So learn from your past lessons. And don't have the sons of the European mother hate you. But I wouldn't say Moorish subjects. I would say amalgamated Moor, and the mother would be a Moorish subject. Because she's in the harem. And Moorish subject, it doesn't have anything to do with some subordinate position or whatever, because some Moorish subjects got hit off proper from the Moors. They get hit off like some Negroes. You get here's you know your pig feet and stuff like that. Right. But that's how I look at it. You know what I mean? Like I'm not on some hate them or nothing like that or whatever. They're people too. And they deserve to have the truth too. Especially if they want it or they're receptive or they're open to or whatever. You know, once they're in favor of the 5 principles, the Prophet, and the agenda of uplifting our people, then whatever. That's why I give honors to Brother Latif Bey. I'll even tell him, yeah, Latif Bey, because he's not fronting with it like I know Moors front. There's Moors who I would take their Bey from them before I take Latif Bey's Bey from him. Moors who've been known for years or whatever. I'll take their stuff. You know what I mean? So yeah, so if that answered the question or gave a perspective, you know what I mean, honors to you and the family more. You know, just bring them up with that more science. Don't matter. They could go around talk about their amalgamated Moors and all of that. You know what I'm saying? Don't even let that, you know, that idea like, you know, well, she's a European, so that means that the children are gonna be devils or whatever. Well, not really. Not really. Because you could influence children early to be right. Super right, because they're already right when they get here. You know, it could be done. You know what I mean? So I don't even go there with that subordinate stuff that you hear Moors try to pull. Like doing the same thing. Like we're, you know, even though there's truth to the history, you know, there's no we have to drill it in the head that they're a hybrid or whatever. That's already known stuff. I mean, how could we help civilize them so that they can act right? Yeah, we know that they don't have melanin in their eyes and all that stuff. We already know.
Yeah.
We already know what's up. We don't have to go there. We don't have to talk about the flaws. Talk about the things that they're doing good as some hybrids. What are they doing good right now? You know what I mean? They're one of the, you know what I mean, strongest supporters of some help save the planet and stuff like that. You know?
Oh, absolutely.
Some gay guys on some save the planet more than Mars. See, gay guys picking up garbage off the floor. Are they evil?
There's more Europeans making wake up people videos than Asiatics.
Than Asiatics are.
Way more. Way more.
Super way more.
Way more. Been doing it for years.
Negroes wanted to debate
years.
Negroes, though,
been putting themselves on the line.
They're debating. Can't stop debating stuff. They always got something to prove to somebody that hasn't already been proven. Like you're saying the other way, like there's something new under the sun or something.
Yeah.
Nothing new under the sun. The hell are you talking about?
Islam, Grand Sheik.
Yeah, more.
If I can just add on real quick to the part when you're saying, you know, with the subject, it's so juris more subject.
Yeah.
You know, just like how you said it, you know, a lot of the people who were in subject by the Moors loved it.
Yeah.
They loved being subject to the Moors.
No issues.
Because it wasn't how we look at subject today.
Exactly.
You know, like if you're sitting at the head of the table and you wearing better clothes than slave master, I don't know if that's subject.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you still get the right complaints because about master working you too hard, I don't know if that's subject. Like you literally could do that, working too hard. You can complain about that, but you can't even do that now.
Just straight. Who's the real slave?
You can't even do that now.
Who is the real slave?
Master tell you it's overtime at work, and you go home, you get a point. You get a write-up. You can't go home. That's a write-up. Master's overworking you today. You ain't going home. It's mandatory.
Mandatory OT.
And at least mandatory OT. No, that's mandatory slavery. Because you're not getting paid for it. We already know that too. So it's mandatory slavery.
Right. How should Moors view chapter 47 of the Holy Quran?
Quick question, Grand Sheik.
Yeah, more.
Before you go in, my son would like to know, was there any, or if you know about any Moabites who were slave masters, so-called slave masters?
No, I haven't heard of any, but that's an interesting question.
Right. Right.
That's an interesting question, but let's just see if Google has anything to say.
Because I've seen, you know, them being able to, you know, to me, if you're the Shariftan, because before there was emperors,
yeah,
that's modern. You know, you were the Shariftan, so that's her. So to me, if she was the one that was running the empire.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that was going on that was slavery, she's the reason. She's the head.
Yeah.
So whatever's going on, she runs it because she's the head.
Straight. Exactly.
Even if she didn't physically have a slave herself, she knows what's going on under her realm.
Yeah. At least that.
Right.
Which is pretty intense, because if there were, I mean, there had to be some type of network of women involved in their own, you know what I mean? Like, today women got their little stuff, we don't know what's going on. You know, they have their own little time they meet up that we don't know what they're meeting up about or whatever. So I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it. You know, it might be a little thing like you know, when they want stuff at the store or whatever like that.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They're sending the slave to go get whatever.
Right.
For you know, house things that are needed.
Yep.
You know, or I don't know, what would you call it? Yeah, things relative to home care. If they didn't have access to it, they'll probably, in that case, be the slave master.
Mm-hmm.
And tell the slave that, yeah, go get this or go get that or go buy something. Give them their license that they can go to the store on behalf of, you know, head mistress.
Exactly.
On behalf of head mistress, whatever, you know, who was the wife of slave master. That everybody knew that was slave master's wife in the community.
Yep.
You know? So yeah.
You can look at it like right now too, because if you look at it modernly, you know, because we're slaves to the Moabites. You know, like Todd said, we start fixing up curtains and getting dressed and doing everything. We're so like even back then. You know, if you look at it back then, whatever we had to do to make her happy, we was gonna do.
Yeah. Because
she needs to. So, you know, just like now, we go to work to make sure we can get her what she wants and make sure that she happy and you know she can do all of that. So the enslavement of Europeans back then, the lucrative business, because that was a major thing then. The enslavement of Christians, that had to be. That's looked at now like us having to go to work, like so she can have a home, she can do whatever she needs to do. She's not on my back. So if I got to round up this many of my modern Europeans, so she can be off my back, like I can see that her still being
in charge. Yeah, her being in charge still. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Still seeing it like I ain't want to do this, but the head honcho at home, she's not trying to hear. I ain't got no bread on the table. She don't want to hear that.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm sorry about your apple tree, but she doesn't eat cherries.
Exactly.
And then more asked the question about chapter 47. Chapter 47. Egypt, the capital empire of the Dominion of Africa. So I sort of look at this in sections. One to 1 to 8, 1 to 9, no, 1 to 8. 1 to 8 is dealing with the geographical location of the capital the empire, the dominion, and then the descendants that were in these jurisdictions. 9 to 17 is dealing with the individuals of the empire that were specific to 9 as far as who these individuals are of the human race, the misclassified people. It was their final call. It's like Revelations in the Bible. Letting you know that it's the end time, and this is where we're going to be moving forward with this. You know, this is the final straw. So one to 8, 9 to 17. Now, when we look at the chapter as a whole, this is just when, you know, just in my reading it and how I broke it down. When we look at the chapter itself in whole, it's also the connection to the vast estate of the Moroccan Empire. By him speaking the way that he's speaking and breaking it down, how he's breaking it down, showing the descendancy and how the power was transferred after power was lost, where people went in order to continue, you know, they're traversing the earth plane, right? Then again, identifying the individuals who are the descendants of the people of the Moroccan Empire that didn't know that, you know, you have a universal creator. You have holy and divine laws that were laid down to you that you can get through the uniting of these people in this organization. You know, instructions with regard to the meetings. Right? Warning that the great and awful day is sure to come. So you better be prepared for when that day gets here. Don't on the day that awful day you've been waiting for. But then also remember, he said that the awful day is also great. Now the fact that it's a great and awful day just lets you know about that universal law of balance, that you can't get away from it. A great and awful day. What side are you going to be on when that day comes? Are you going to be on the awful side, or are you going to be on the great side? Right? Every nation must worship under its own vine and fig tree. Right? That's a last straw. That's a last straw call. You better connect yourself to your own vine and fig tree right now, because that's what everybody's doing. And if you're not doing that, you're done for. Nothing personal, but you're done for if you're not dealing with it like that. And again, how are you tying back to your vine and fig tree? By having a nationality.
Yeah.
That's how you're tying back. And I'm sure you talk to different Moors, they give you their lots of different perspectives. But ultimately, it's to bring us back in mind to the vast estate of the Moorish Empire and how we're tied to it. If got anything else, just throw it in the chat. You have anything to add, Brother Yusuf? Chapter 47?
Islam, because you was going in on chapter 47, and I saw something in the chapter 47, line 12, or the line 12. It says, the holy and divine laws are from the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the founder of the uniting of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science of North America. Now, the founder of the uniting. Now, we just went in on the word unity.
Yep.
Now, unity in Black's Law Dictionary, first sentence, it says, in the law of a state. Now, if we put that in the law of a state of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science of North America, that doesn't sound like what the temple been saying, according to what chapter 47 says in the circumcision of the Holy Quran, divinely prepared by Noble Ali. It says uniting right in front of it. Uniting. So we're dealing with unity. Well, in law, unity is dealing with a state. But they're not telling us about our estate in those temples. They're telling you, if you don't come to the temple, you're not a Moor. But they're not telling you that you have an estate.
Or like Brother Hafed just asked in the chat, they want you to think that Morocco is only in North Africa.
Right.
And
right.
not recognizing that Morocco is also over here. That's why we fly that flag in America. Because there's no such thing as a place called United States that's above Mexico. There's no such place called Canada that's above the place called United States. Those two things are a fiction. What's above Mexico is Morocco, which is Morocco, the farthest west that you know, Hafed, as Maghreb Al-Aqsa. And you know Maghreb Al-Aqsa is not North Africa, Morocco. You know that if you speak Arabic. The difference is that we're not Negroes. We're not black people. So you might have thought we didn't have certain information. Or you might have been looking towards what you thought was that really wasn't. Right? So just like the brother is saying, the information is going to be twisted. And you have to know what you know. Right? If the Supreme Grand Council was left insolvent after the Second Convention and Mili'i was left as the Supreme Grand Sheikh, who is the present Supreme Grand Council? You're going to have to ask those people who are present Moorish Science Temple of America, Temple number 1. Because that's where any Supreme Grand Council authority would have come from. and that, don't get it messed up, if members of the Supreme Grand Council were involved in Drew Ali being out the way too. So it's interesting that he's the only one that transitioned, nobody else. Just like how come Khalid got it? How come El Haj got it? How come certain other people didn't get it? How come Martin got it? How come Lumumba got it? It's interesting, the people who are really working for us are the ones who get it. How come Pat got it? He was trying to unify hip hop. So how come he got it? Unifying hip hop's not a bad thing. Or is it? So when you start talking about Supreme Grand Councils and all that, no, just like Kwanzaa, you might be dealing with infiltration. Not really people who are in that position because they really love the people. Because if they did love the people, we would have been known who the Supreme Grand Council is before Rami asked them. It would have been public record who those people were. Because Juali took away all the secrets. So as soon as you see that there's secrets, you already know somebody's playing games with you. Because why is there secrets? Right? So we get it. I mean, I get why people are asking, because, you know, if there's a Supreme Grand Council, then certain things will be done. Well, again, going back again to the sellout. Let's just say all the Supreme Grand Council does put their hand up right now. You going with them just because they say they're that? So just because they say we're Supreme Grand Council, you're not going to chase after them. I thought we're taught to study, not follow after people. But no, because of titles now, people are chasing people now. It's not even about info anymore. It's about what kind of title you got so we can follow you. So we always go back to that same thing. 5 years ago, no Supreme Grand Council assisted active Moors in doing whatever it is that they were doing. No consular court, no whatever it is that they got today. Moors who already beat cases, beat charges, beat tickets, beat taxes, beat whatever, beat mortgages, beat debts, whatever it is, right? Nothing. Then ask somebody for something. You think Moors who are exercising right child for the past 5 years ask some Supreme Grand somebody to do that? You think they ask some grand whoever to do that? And oh yeah, with regard to chapter 47 too, the reason why I don't go the angle of the trust part, because look around, there's no trust around amongst Moors. There's thieves. There's foxes in the hen house. You're gonna realize there's foxes in the hen house. This is not gonna be right till the foxes are out the hen house. We want to play fox in the hen house? Cool. We can play that, but don't be looking for certain things, because people aren't ready for that. People want to be the man. People don't want to humble themselves and pay some dues and not putting finance into anything. Pay some dues as in let's get some work done. It's not about you beat your whatever. Yeah, you beat your whatever. Round of applause. Round of applause. You beat whatever. Oh, you use your nationality card to get taxes off. Yay. Good job. And so now what? We're done. We're done with your whatever. Now could we get some stuff done now? Can we do some things now? Opposed to playing that you're doing something because you did something with your stuff only, but nobody else benefit from it. That's quite selfish. Mad people benefited from me saying, yo, Moore, you want to go to Chicago and just see what's going on with this Moorish or whatever? Yeah, let's go. All right, here we go. Ever since we started saying Canaanland Moors, mad people benefited from this. Mad people. Don't worry about my dues. You're over here because I probably put you on. Somebody sent you. Well, yeah, Canaanland Moors. Had to be out there. So Moors, you don't even know about paid dues for us to say Canaanland Moors right now. That you now in 2018 could say, oh yeah, I know that. I watch that. I've been watching that for the past 2 years. Know how much dues Moors paid? And just because this is their birthright. So they're gonna rep this. Some of my worst enemies live right around me and look just like me. Still told us a long time ago. Yes, United States of America is Morocco land, Hafed Mohammed. Yes. And you should know this because Maghreb Al-Aqsa, you know Maghreb Al-Aqsa is Morocco the West. America is the West. Morocco. Just like you know Israel is not Palestine. That's Palestine. That's not Israel over there. There's no Middle East over there. You know that. Certain things aren't what they are saying they are. Oh. Right. The Moroccan Empire is also over here, Brother Hafed. The Moroccan Empire is also over here. Not just over there. There's a lot more.
That was my fault. That was my fault.
All right.
That was my fault. Yeah. It was
Right. Northwest. Northwest. Right. We know, Hafed, that Morocco in Africa is only north. With regard to Africa, it's northwest. But with regard to the world, that's north.
Yep.
West is over here, according to geography. West is this side. This is part of how even they have amalgamated Moroccans dumbed down into thinking that Morocco is only over there. But then every single Moroccan is gonna clap when Barack Obama goes there and does a speech or whatever and talks about the Moors and the Morocco and the treaty and all that stuff. People are gonna clap. So we know you know Hafed, but this is not a black channel where we don't know what's up. We know what's up over here. We're not the dumb Negroes that the videos you guys laugh at. And we have a video on our channel from our brother from Jordan who said and told us that it's a fact that Morocco is over here as well. It's a fact that where he's from, it's known. It's known that America is Morocco. So I'm just letting you know, Hafed, that we're not the dumb Negroes that you're used to going in their stuff and you're debating about Islam with them and stuff like that, and they're talking crazy and you're laughing at them. We're not those ones. We're actually students. We study, we know stuff, we have libraries, we got books, just like the Moors used to back in the day, that you know that your great-granddad, you got fezzes on and stuff like that in your pictures at your house, Hafed.
Right.
We know you got pictures on the wall with great-great-granddad wearing the fez or the turban with the jewel on it and the feather and all that. We know. All right? We already know.
And so-called United States, because he asked the question, is USA Morocco land? USA don't exist. That's fiction on paper. It's just this is Morocco. United States don't exist. That's a corporation. It don't exist.
Like it's a corporation, just like on that side, India is a corporation, right? And Sri Lanka is a corporation, and you know that over there, that India is not a country; it's a corporation, a British corporation. On top of that, same thing over here. Same thing over here. One of the Moors asked in the email. He went to Astoria, Queens. Astoria, Queens. There's a Jewish synagogue there, and on the Jew. Oh, you know what? Or they beat you up with your own stuff because they know what's up. Everybody, even the Jews knew what's up. The Ashkenazis knew what's up to do this. So the question was, could you talk about this, Mr. Spock, hand signal that these Jews have on their synagogue door? And then remember that we talked about earlier, right? The Kwanzaa goofies, they got their 7, but the Jews see that they got the 9 because they're taking it to a different realm that these people don't even know what the hell they're talking about with their little 7 candles. Right? So let's just zoom in on this so we could do just a little talk about. So we see the scales on there. You see the chiro at the top. You see that it is actually compassed with the points extended right here. The scales of justice, and then the two-step pyramid as a balance, and then the hands. And this is just, you can go to anywhere and get this. Sanskrit, seal, mudra, M-U-D-R-A-S. Meditative hand gestures. A ritual gesture in Hinduism and Buddhism. While some mudra involve the entire body, most are performed with the hands and fingers. Mudra is spiritual gesture and energetic seal of authenticity, employed in the iconography and spiritual practice of Indian religions and Taoism. According to the yogic science, the human body comprises of 5 basic elements. The 5 fingers of the hand are connected to these vital elements in the body. An intuitive flow, we learn the mudras during the teacher trainings and retreats as part of the yoga pranala teachings. So the 5 fingers of the hand, the vital elements: thumb, fire; index finger, air; middle finger, space; ring finger, earth; and pinky finger, water. Fire, air, space, earth, water. Right? Love, truth, peace, freedom, justice. Just, right? We dealt with 7 earlier. Then these guys had the 9 on the thing. And then now the 5. And then we're dealing with the 5 on the other side. So it's which is really 1. Right? Or the 1 and the 0. But the 1 always goes into 0 to create again. Five fingers. So you have fire, air, fire, space, fire, earth, fire, water. And you can do different with using both hands. While meditating, you can authenticate the seal. You can spiritual gesture to the ethers. Doctor Strange, mudras. Do the mudra and then you could do stuff. Because it's really about using the 4 elements, which are everything in creation, and being able to manipulate it to what your mind could perceive. So that's what those Jews have on the door. So it wasn't just a gesture or a salute of some alien beings. The Vulcan were always in meditation. That's why their mind was so sharp. That's why they had the big ears, because the big ears is like a representation of intelligence. When you go check all the whatever sages, whoever like that, that big ears. Same thing like how you have the wart on the witch or whatever. And the witch always has the wart with the hair growing out of it or whatever. So when he does the Vulcan, because they're in constant meditation, that their hand gesture is a mudra. That's how zen they are. So if they're, you know, when they have the Olympics and it's their time to come out to get the gold and everybody's doing the Vulcan. People are looking at it like, oh, well, yeah, they're doing their whatever like that. They're looking at it like mudra. And again, it's a spiritual gesture to the ethers. Because the meditative practice, again, as Dr. Strange shows, that you could be awake and do the stuff. You don't need to do and go in the pose and all that stuff. If the whole point of doing that is to be able to just do the stuff, so that was basically for that, the mudra. That's the level that the Ashkenazis are on, that they have that stuff in brass on their building. That's how serious they're taking Moorish science. How serious are we taking it? Well, the object of this channel is just to put information out about the history of Moors, the culture of Moors, things relative to Moorish history. Because our people have our people are awakening. As you see, you know, where we are, we're in Toronto. This is directly for you, Brother Hafed, when you say what's the objective of this channel, right? This is Allah working so you can see how real this is, right? Just read up in the chat. You'll see that he asked, what's the purpose of this chat? And then Miss T came on. Islam says, peace from Toronto. Please reach out to me for questions I have for local Toronto members of MST. So people are open to this, right? People are open to this. People obviously are out there wanting to learn. So if we can set it up where we can have a place for people to learn about this information relative to their nationality and their birthrights, whether they're here in Toronto or outside of Toronto, because you know we know more in the world. You know, we're not just limited to Toronto because here's where we are. Because you know, like you said, I don't know where you are, Hafed, but you're here too, which again lets us know something. We must be doing something right. You know, we must be doing something right. But again, if you have any questions, you could just put them right here, right now, because you know you don't have to email them. You can just put them right now. Is there a temple on the west coast of Turtle Island? Well, let's see. We wouldn't say Turtle Island because that's a fiction. Because this is Morocco.
Right.
We're not here to discredit any stories or history or whatever about Turtle Island, but jurisdiction is very important to Moors. And we don't play being in jurisdictions where we know colonial activity is going to be rampant on our rights. Especially willingly going into those jurisdictions. So we would say in Morocco, there's more science temples all over. There's a chat right here that you're on right now that you can put where you're at out there. If there's a Moor on there, then they're gonna let you know what's up. But again, you should be doing your own due diligence so that you're not getting played, because there's also people out here that might be trying to play you. Right? What type of identification should Moors use when traveling internationally? Oh, Brother Yusuf, you had an add-on?
What ID should Moors use when traveling internationally?
If it's to that or the one before too.
What was the one before that one?
Is there a temple on the west coast of Turtle Island?
Oh yeah, that question right there, like you said, not to disrespect,
no beat down,
nobody's story and that.
No beat down,
but,
no beat down.
Right, this Morocco, and on the west, is there any temples on the west coast of Morocco? Not that I know of. I mean, I don't know any temples out there. Only temple I know of in trust is Canaanland Moorish. Me, personally, I don't know about any other temples. I'm not saying there isn't any. I'm just saying I don't know. But the only one I know about and trust is Canaanland Moorish, Grand Sheik Cujo out of Well. That's the one I know and trust about. And the second question, I mean, what I do personally, well, I've never traveled outside of Morocco here. And I basically can't answer that without because I've never done it. But I know of Moors who do have those instruments, but because of they know like passports or whatever, they know due to threat to rest and corrosion, they might have to get those instruments, so they reserve their rights because they know how to live within contract on their own land. And they also know the whole story, due to sellouts, threat to rest and corrosion, and that's the reason why. It's not just, it's because I don't like that part where Moors be like, oh, he's not a Moor because he uses those instruments, or somebody's frowned on him, not knowing that the sellout came in 1929 when they killed the Prophet. We didn't ask to be having to get these fraudulent contracts. We're forced to get them due to sellouts. So that's why people who do get those instruments, they reserve their rights on them. I personally don't have one, but I know if the Moabite has put some pressure on me, I'm gonna have to start making some moves because she wants to go somewhere outside of Morocco here. But my thing is, I'm hoping by then, we can start making some moves, putting people on notice properly or whatever we got to do so we can travel without being hindered in our travels. Because that's what it is. But there is other Moors that I've heard, but I can't say, but I trust them more. I did hear that they just used their free national identification, and it wasn't no problem. I've heard people who had no ID whatsoever, and just because they have to go back to where they from, nothing was going to stop them, and no security guard or nothing. They went there and came back, no problem. Because at the end of the day, can't nobody tell you who you really are. And that's what that person was activating on at that time. I'm not saying stuff ain't changed. I'm not saying it's going to work for you. I'm not saying none of that.
Exactly.
I'm saying, you know, if your energy is correct, because that more that I was building with, their energy was correct. And they wasn't taking no, oh, I'm not going to go bury my grandmother. Like, what? Because I don't have an ID. That wasn't what they was hearing. They was going to go to their grandmother, bury their grandmother from their country that they was from. And nobody was going to tell them nothing. So yeah, there's people who they don't even know what's what and still doing what they do. Just like people who, you know, don't even know that they can travel without a so-called license, and they just traveling. They're just doing it. Yeah. They're just doing it. I'm saying, if your energy is, oh, I wish they would stop me from going over to the whatever, then I'm thinking that's what's going to happen to you when you get to the airport. Everything that you wish to happen to you. So, like, if you operating surely, and like the prophet said, it's a divine and national movement. If you acting divinely, I don't see how anything. Like, you might not. You putting all that pressure on yourself, doing all that studying. You been got there, and they might not even ID you. No, nothing. They just, oh, all right, go ahead. You been got to security, and it was me working or something. I done got a job at the security place, and I see more coming. Oh yeah, you come right in. Go ahead. You know, you don't know what's gonna. Just like my boy, my friend, his Moabite is a so-called probation officer who people supposed to go in and check in. It was another Moor here who was checking in, just got on probation and had to go check in. They never even knew each other, but I knew that I was just like the third party. I knew my friend, one of my boys, his Moabite works there, and I knew that my boy over here, he had to go check in. And he was about to go put them on notice. He was studying. He didn't want to do the design. And he was going down there and he was exercising his birthright. And he went down there, and who did he run into? My boy, who's a Moor, and his girl's a Moabite. Everything was smooth for him. And they didn't even know each other. But I'm sitting in the third party in the back, like, watching it, like, wow.
Look at this.
If we all wake up.
Yeah. Crazy.
You know what I mean? It wouldn't be an issue. You going into the security thing, and it's some more working here.
You're going through. You're through. That's it.
That's it.
Doesn't matter. Nothing matters. That's it. And that's the real have a more in every position of whatever. Not in the de facto government, whatever. In everyday society.
Right.
Have it like that whatever store you go to, you know a Moor there who you're going to get his link. That wherever you go, there's a Moor that you know there.
Yeah.
But then the other part of it, Moors have to get off their ass and do stuff too.
Right.
Regardless of what it is. Do something. Let somebody see you in your face somewhere.
You know how happy that would make me? I walk into an establishment and I see a Moor working with his fez on. You know how happy I would be? I'd be like, oh, I'm good today. I'm good today. I'm good today. Islam, Moor.
Islam.
You have to see it more.
Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I mean, like, for example, like I live within contracts. So I got passport. But I know that's not mine. All rights reserved on that. Fez is up, and it is what it is. I don't have no issues when I go anywhere. I don't have issues. You know what I mean? Right? Because my stuff's clean. It's not like there ain't no issue. You got issues now. It's different. But again, it's about if you're standing on your birthrights, then you're standing on whatever identification or papers or whatever it is that you present. And that's strictly who it is. Even if they take you in the back, search you down or whatever, they're not finding anything relative to anything other than the name that you told them that that's who you are. So there's no joinder, there's no confusion, there's no whatever. You are who you are. That's the name that's on the ticket. That's the name that's on these 2 pieces of mail that you have as proof that that's your identity, because that's going to go with whatever papers or identity card or whatever you have, just as proof. And you go wherever you're going. And when it's time to get back, you have your date that you're getting back on, and then on the date you get back. You know? Like there's Moors who use a nationality card and they go on a plane. And it's not an issue for them. I haven't heard of anybody getting jammed up or having no issues or whatever. Because most time they're saying, no, you can't go or whatever. It's not no big deal. You know what I mean?
Right. I'm telling you, if you go in there, I wish they would. Ain't nothing gonna happen to me. Something gonna happen to you.
Yeah. Anytime you can't, you know, you're. It's no different than any other time when you had or whatever, and you would give it. It's nothing new. I mean, I know it conceptually it's something different, but yo, you've been doing this. You've been filling out forms and stuff like that. Ain't nothing new. All you're doing now is you make sure that you're going through that contract properly, you know, and when you sign, you're reserving your rights by writing all rights reserved on the line before you sign anything on the line.
Yeah.
And then that's it. But again, it comes from, you know, like when they say put all rights reserved on the passport, like when I applied for it and it came back to me, right? One, it got returned in maybe 3 days or something. Oh, hold on, more. Please, more.
Yeah, Scratch Chick, how you doing?
Yo, I'm good. Yo, I'm just live right now. Could I call you back?
Okay, all right. I'll leave you. I'll call you later then.
No, I'll call you back in a little bit if you'll be up.
All right,
I'll link you back.
Okay, peace.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So what the hell we were talking about again? I wasn't expecting that one. Anyways.
That's what they want. They want they operate. You walking in there with your fez on, everybody know what time it is. Those cameras seen you coming in there before you even got out the conveyance. They've been seeing you more. And they looking for energy.
It's a study. It's Serve your rights. Like, they know something. They know something. Right. What I was saying was, when it came back to me, it came back in a week or something, which is fast. And then when it came back, the signature spot was blank. Now, prior ones, when you send for it, you put the signature on the paper in the box, and then they lift it and they put it on the thing for you. Then this one, it was blank. I was like, oh, okay, I guess they really want all rights reserved to be on there. You know, so I was able to write it, you know, big and put the all right, you know, sign and go about my business.
Yeah.
You know, use it and have no issues. You know. But there are people who use a nationality card and they have traveled. They have traveled with a nationality card, have gone on a plane with a nationality card and returned from wherever they went to. You know.
I mean, that's why I like taking the train. You know, avoid all of that. They don't even do all of that IDing and all of that. But I get to travel in my free national.
Yeah.
Or my ticket says Yusuf Mutadio.
That's all that matters. It's all that matters. There's a lot more. I don't know if there's any more questions out there. Shoot those out. And if that's your official, just remember Gurel has L in it, by the way. If you are really given that when you came out the womb, just remember Gurel has L in it. So when you're talking about exercising something or whatever, you know, think in your mind about, hey, I've been an L already. I came out the womb and somebody named me L without really knowing that they named me L. And then I'm studying information that is dealing with my name that I have right now. That should be tripping you out. That should be tripping you out. That you're studying some information that's relative to the name that you have right now, that you never heard about ever. You know. Oh yeah. You want to tell them about Uncle Bay quick fast? Just for the boys that. Right, and then the boy just said, it's crazy that I'm talking about it right now. You're just thinking about that. Exactly. That's how the spirit works. All that stuff jumping around in you right now, where you feel like you want to jump out the window and fly, don't do it, because you can't fly yet. Don't do it. That was just a teaser. You even get anything yet. That was just a teaser. Right? Wisdom just touched your knee. She didn't even give you nothing yet. Wait till wisdom owes you. But yeah, boy, just the story how you found out about Uncle Bay.
Oh, James Bay.
Yeah.
So I was as well. So I was doing research on, you know, on my ancestors, and so I was but I have land down south, so I wanted to know, about the land and what was going on. Hold on one second. My son is bothering me one more time. Forgive me.
No worries, I got you. So the point of the matter is it's always there and probably been there, teasing you. One of the things with us, with our family, was these pictures that everybody had in the family. So there's a picture of 4 brothers. Yeah, more. So yeah, the call dropped. I'm just telling my story quick, fast. So there was the four pictures, or there was a picture broken into 4 pieces or whatever, and certain people in the family had this picture. Every time you go to their house, there's this picture there or whatever. So years later, now studying this information and dealing with the Moorish history and all that stuff, these pictures pop up all these years later, and the name of the pictures was the 4 Moors, and it was a painting of 4 Moors heads, I never got the story about those pictures. I have to ask my aunt again about them pictures, because they're still around. But yeah, you were talking about Uncle Bay.
Yes. So my ancestors, they got land down south, and so I'm doing the research because I'm looking up. Well, when I go down south to visit my father, he lets me read about, the will that my great grandfather left for us, so we can see this is our land or whatever or whatnot. So going in on the information, so I'm going to look up on, and it's because it's near Georgia Corporation. So I'm looking on their tax, it's like tax website that they have in Georgia that you can look up to see who owns what on the land. So as I'm looking into it, I can see what my grandfather, Adolphus Williams, when he used to own, and the name of the street. Well, my grandfather's title is Adolphus Williams, but the name of the street is Williams Way, and it goes for miles. It goes for miles. So I'm looking at the research on the website and to see who else is on the land, what else of my relatives' titles is on the land. So I'm looking, and then I had that says James Bay. And I'm like, yo, who the heck is James Bay? And I'm going crazy because on the paper, it's James Bay. But I'm like, I'm thinking the man's not alive or something like that. Like it's some old, but it just put me out. Like his name was really on the paper, James Bay. James Bay, owning land. James B-E-Y, Cherokee Indian, so-called. Hold on 1 second, Grand.
Yeah, more. No worries, more. 2 apples, you already know. Right? So, another good story is Brother Merrick out here. That, he came in the information, corrected the name, got the appellation, repping hard on the appellation, have judges week, have magistrates. Like, what? What's your appellation or whatever? Damn. Like, oh, tripping. Tutus was watching a Rosmariah or something like that, and she was talking about doing research on the name that you were given, because sometimes, you know what I mean? So he did research on the name, found that the name that he's been born with, means more. And he's been one all his life, not even knowing. All his life. and nobody said anything. You know.
I remember that story, man.
Yeah,
that one sat with me for a while.
Yeah.
That sat with me for a while.
Yeah.
I was like, what? That really made me go look up. You know, my joint. I was like, man, I hope I didn't mess up. But you know what I mean? Like I already had it, so I had to really go look at my title. But it was my middle title that bugged me out with the Leon and the Leo, and because I didn't know nothing about that. You know, then like going in from just off of that story you just told. Like when I heard that story, it made me go back and study my title. So I was like, oh, the Leo, the Lion. I didn't know that. I didn't know nothing about that. And then it starts going in, and then because I'm an Aries, so the Leo with the lion, you know, the symbol with the lion, and the Aries, you know, with the fire, I automatically was like, oh, my mom knew something, you know, trying to get, like, you're going to tie the lion in with the Aries, you know, being the high head and whatever. And I'm like, yo, look at that. Yeah. Look at, you know, just bugged out of me. It's like that ties all in with me right there, you know, just with this the symbol. And then, you know, I was like, wow, man, it's always in it. And then going in on, you know, you start studying all your consanguinities titles, you know, like you're like my mom's title is Sheila, but it's spelled Sheila. And then I go study that Sheila and how that was an ancient, you know, Canaanite Phoenician system. I was like, what, mama? And Shira was a god, right? Now listen. Now look, my mom. I say Shira because my mom, when we were out of hand, my mom said she would threaten us. She'd be like, "Y'all want me to turn into Shira?" This when we was little. You know, my mom didn't know what it meant. She just nicknamed herself Shira. She didn't know what it meant. And then when I get older to read that, like, whoa. This lady told me, y'all gonna make me turn into a god, and I'm gonna demolish every one of y'all children. Been saying, I was like, yo, it's always been here, always been right in front of our faces, right in our titles. Like I was like, wow, my mom, and then like my sister, hers is Elaine, and I was like, oh, L. And I was just like, oh man, this is all crazy.
Yeah, super
you know,
crazy.
So I was just like, damn, we all Moors. Like, we been Moors, been doing it.
We all Moors.
We all Moors.
Yep, She-Ra the cartoon too. Yep, I was thinking about that.
Oh, She-Ra.
Yeah.
Right.
He-Man's girl. Sister.
Yep. My mom was already on it, killing me. I'm like, yo, what do you... But my mom, I told you...
into She-Ra.
Right. My mom, now she already did this to me. Recently, though, this was like a month ago, she shocked me with it. But the other day, you know, my sister's up here for the 1 degrees of the sun rising for the 25th. She's up here celebrating that. And so my mom is in there saying the alphabet. A is for Allah, B is for, and my sister, my older sister, she's like, Mom, where you learn that from? Like, she knows the nation of gods and earth, the alphabet. And she knows about her still to this day.
For real.
And my sister's like, where did that come from? Bugged out. My mom is laughing because my sister, she never heard the story. But my mom, she told me already, like, yeah, they was down in the building she used to live in, the Nation of Gods of Earth. They had a class in the building on the first floor. And she said she would go in there and sit down, her and my cousin Tony, they would go in there and sit down and listen. Yeah. And I was like, what? And I was like, so you just remembered the alphabet? She was like, yeah, I was like 14, 15. And grandma was saying, don't you go down there? And that would make me want to go down there even more. I was like, oh, okay. And now she over there A is for Allah, B is, and she could do the whole alphabet.
Yeah.
The whole alphabet. I said, Mom, so you've been on the science, and then, you know, thinking in my head, like, yo, we was always on the right path, but,
Always on it.
you know, just because the way the system goes, we be out of tune. You know, you don't want to be looked at crazy.
Yeah. Especially back then or whatever. Thinking,
Yeah, of course.
Thinking that's crazy.
But Moms was on it. Been on it. Been on it.
That's crazy.
My sister was standing there looking at her like, what are you doing? Because my sister, she's the one that told us we was Moorish. You know what I mean? Like, and then like for my mom to just come out like, hold on, I know the alphabet, and just broke it down. And I'm like, wait a minute. All that stuff was around here, man. You know, it goes right back to it too. The sellout was major. Okay?
Major. You said the sellout was major.
The sellout was major. They got even. I hope people do like. Don't just look at like, cause like the more who asked earlier, is there any temples in the West Coast area? Like, you know, look. Don't. It might not be none now, but don't think there wasn't one.
Yeah.
Like here, like there's none now, but in the '60s there was temples here. I remember one of the brothers here, Wire, he had found that. I was like, whoa, found a whole bunch of paperwork, and the temple was right over here by the Dunbar Community Center, by the Dun, which means Dun is Moorish, but it's the temple was right next to it. Now it's called the Panache. It's a club, but it's still a place where all Asiatics go. It's not like an area, you know what I mean? It's still an area where all the Asiatics still be going to party at. Still, and I'm like, wow, man. And they got on it, on the door, they got all the symbols on it. Across the street, there's a apartment building. And on the apartment building, there's like little hoofs on top of the door, and it's burgundy, right? And in white, they have crescents on each one of the hooves above the door. So I asked my uncle, I said, yo, what's going on with the building? I see like it got all the crescents on there. Oh, the temple used to own the building. I said, what? What do you mean? Yo, like, it's right now, it's still an apartment building, but it's for like that, you know, underprivileged, so-called poor people, our people in that building destroyed. But on it, you can still see the crescent, the star is still Islam, all of that on the building still. And I'm like,
the temple owned the building, and Moors aren't in that building right now.
No. But the stuff is still right there. You can look up the paperwork and all of that. You can see the establishment, who was running it. It'll tell you all of that. And then it tell you it was a branch off of the Kirkland Bay Moors. That's the only thing I said, wow, now look at that. Tell you everything.
Yeah, but that again goes to show, look what they did with the birthright. Your birthright. Look what they did with our birthright. They were able to get an apartment building or whatever. And then what happened? Like, you used the Moorish nobility. You got a whatever. And then now grass growing out of it, and you're talking about listening to you to come to your temple to do something? You used to have an apartment building. What the hell are you talking about? Listen to you guys. You couldn't even handle the apartment building. What the hell are we listening to you for? These ones had an apartment building.
All that stuff's still there. But the thing is, the funny thing is, Mosque 13 or Temple 13 of the NOI, it's right in front of it. It's right next to it now. Wow. And I'm like, yo, look at all of this.
Wow.
Look at all. And the area that it's in is called Mason Square. or McKnight area. That's where all of this stuff is going on at. All of this. All of the Moorish Science Temple used to be here in this area. The apartment building, the Temple 13, the NOY. All of this now is in the Mason Square area. It's always been there. Or McKnight, which we all know, all that's Moorish.
Yeah.
All of it's Moorish. Talks about El Hajj coming up here. There's a lot of history where I'm at right here, but when I go bring it up, people start looking away. They don't like talking about it. They don't like talking about it. Just like when I showed up at the so-called, they had like our people.
Hold on. Hey, Pano, just breathe.
Right.
Truth got him. Just breathe, yo. Just breathe. Everything will be all right. You'll wake up tomorrow, a new being.
Yep.
Just breathe, Pano. Breathe. Yeah, that's real.
Sellout was real, Grand Sheik.
The sellout's real. The sellout is so real. The sellout is so real. So Moors, wherever you're at, just do what you could do. You know what I mean? You don't have to try to save everybody. Do what you could do. Go on rvbaypublications.com. Make a flyer. Make some photocopies of that. Give them out to people. You know, you got access to a space that you could use. You know what I mean? Bring the DVD player. Bring the phone.
Yep.
Plug the Bluetooth in. Sit there and listen to some lectures. Invite some people. Tell them bring some food. And just chill and learn something. All you could do is what you could do, like the Moor said in the chat. So here's on, Brother Yusuf. Amar's asking if you're in mass. Brother Ben.
Say that again?
Brother Ben Bay. He's asking if you're in mass.
Yes. Islam. Yep. Springfield.
Oh,
yeah, Springfield Court.
Yeah, he's asking about Springfield too.
Yep. Right up the street from the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, Brother Ben. So just leave your email. And we'll get that to you. Canaanlandguide@gmail.com. Canaanlandguide@gmail.com. Just send an email and we'll connect you with the brother if you're out that way, or you'll be out here. Definitely. So that's what it's about. Unity. You don't need Kwanzaa for that. You know, unity amongst the Moors. So you have unity amongst the Moors, and we have unity with everybody else. Islam to everybody in the chat. Islam to everybody that showed up for part 2, since they tried to pull a move and make us not go for our 9 hours straight that we were gonna do.
Right.
They killed the vibe. They killed the vibe, but we still got a part 2 on them. Well,
yep.
Give thanks to the Moors all over the world. Peace and love to all the Moors. Make sure you need to contact us, Canaanlandguide@gmail.com. CANAANLANDGUIDE. Canaanlandguide@gmail.com. 647-748. You'll see the number right there. Stop playing. We're here, Moors. Islam to all the Moors worldwide. Everywhere you're at. I want to say Peace and love to you all. Peace and love to you all. And we'll just do our promo. We'll just do our promo closeout. Islam, brother Yusuf. You got a shout? Peace more.
Peace more.
Yeah, yo, you got a closeout for anybody?
Oh, yeah, Islam the Moors in the chat. Give thanks to the Green Sheik for the platform, Canaanland Moors, and give thanks to the Prophet. And if you want to get reach me, it's Yusuf L YUSUFEL 720 at Gmail. That's my Gmail. Yeah, so Islam to the Moors in the chat. Give thanks, Green Sheik.
Yo, peace and love to you more. Islam to little Yusuf and the fam.
Islam.
Islam.
Don't talk about it. Talk about it. Don't talk about it. Talk about it. Don't talk about it. Talk about it. Don't talk about. Talk about. 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 Don't talk about what you see behind closed doors. Don't talk about business that you know that ain't yours. Better not talk about what happened in '04, but you can talk about what you hear from Canaanland Moors. Bet you won't talk about when you were on all fours. The times you wanted to experiment, explore. Most don't talk about the childhood they endured. It's psychological, need I say more? But all you do is talk shit, yeah, I know that you're bored. Talk all you want about me, I've been learning to ignore. Don't talk about facts if you know you ain't sure. Let's talk about the reasons why we can't stop wars. Don't talk about it, talk about it. Don't talk about it, talk about it. Don't talk about, talk about, don't talk about, talk about, don't talk about, talk about, don't talk about. Invasion. Watch for democracies, hypocrisy, philosophies, fear and shock factories, pseudo-poet mockeries and poppy fields, blocking swinging shots without Moroccan shields. Industry, the mind, floor versus folks and stopping wheels, popping fields empty, buried in the battlefield, working on the streets is walking in some cattle fields. Being out for gruesome, love mental snoozing, sleepwalking and talking, cell phones are soothing, minds disappearing, genetic memory erasing, don't even have a job but they get you for tax evasion, hot like a frying pan, crying fam, lying men, news gadgets, firemen, no loyalty to fire.
This is from Google Earth. I just pulled this approximately 6 weeks ago or so. Google Earth.
Brother, don't let me interrupt you, but let's take a pause for the cause right now. So you're going around this place where you know you've lived for all these years, right? And you're bumping into this information, right? In a place where, you know, they say you're not from, and you know, you have to go back to Africa, and you know, they might even have people over there that are you know, I don't want to use the term race because I know they probably won't deal with it, but you probably get abused being how you look, you know, just like we do everywhere in the world. Right? But how does this solidify in your mind your connection to Moors opposed to Black and whatever else that we've been taught that we are?
Well, it's interesting that you asked me that because a friend of mine is a teacher, and she teaches high school, and she teaches the highest level of high school, which is called gymnasium. And when I started coming on this information, she was like, yeah, that's what we learn in school, that Black people are Moors. Like, they're Moors. That's what we learn. So I'm like, really? Like, you never told me that before, but then I never asked. So then I started, you know, the more I started learning, I started talking to another friend of mine, Florian, and he's a gym teacher. And I was telling him I was taking some online courses, and he was asking me what about, and I said the Moors, and he's like, yeah, we know black people as Moors, like black people as Moors. We learned as Moors, but then, and he told, this is his exact words. He said, but then you guys started calling yourselves black and Negro and so on, and so we just said, okay, that's what you call yourself, so obviously we're gonna call you that. That's what he told me.
So, and this is a European?
This is a European.
This is a European telling you this.
Yeah.
So-called slave master telling you that you chose to call yourself those names, and they're not. The jurisdiction was created, and we jumped in it willingly.
Yeah.
So that means we put ourselves in. We took ourselves out of prisoner of war status and put ourselves in slavery status.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, what he was telling me is like we follow the U.S. is such the America, I should say, is so powerful in the images that it spreads to the rest of the world that he was basically saying like we just follow you guys in the United States, in the United States of America. We just follow you. So if you say you're pink, okay, you're pink. That was pretty much it. So you guys started calling yourselves black and Negro, and so that's what we follow suit because you know yourselves better. But he learned, us as Moors. That's what they learned. That's what he learned in school. And he's 30 years old, and he's a gym teacher now. So, and then there's another. Let me get to this image actually. That leads me into this next image.
No, go ahead, brother. Show yours.
A friend of mine, another Florian. There's a lot of flows in Germany. He's 26, I believe, and we play basketball together and stuff. And I was telling him what I'm learning and stuff like that. And he told me, he came to me and he said, well, he thought that Moor was a derogatory statement because when he went to the Volksfest, which is kind of like a traveling amusement park that comes around twice a year to Nuremberg, called Volksfest. He said that at certain booths, they sell ice cream at certain booths, it's chocolate ice cream, and they call it Ice Moor, which means ice is ice cream and more. They call it Ice Moor. And he said something like, some people petitioned, I think it was the Europeans or something, but I'm not 100% sure. But some people petitioned thinking that that was a derogatory mark and they wanted to take that out because it was tied to ice cream and stuff like that. So he thought it was removed. Now, this blew me away because I went to the Volksfest. It came back. It comes twice a year. And I went to the one in fall. And I went around with another friend of mine, Robbie, that I also play basketball with. And they still had the stand there. And I took a picture of it. Now, if you see at the top here, it says Ice Moor. And you see in the corner right there, that's the logo. And I blew it up. And this is it. Ice Moor. For €1.50 or €2. And this is still there. I just took this in, I think September it was when I went.
I was searching for a better way, and then I found who I am. He gave me nationality and brought me back to reality.
Story about a monster creature. The Negro. The Negro is the most deceptive creature on the planet. While his words move in a rhythm meant to hypnotize, he makes himself up to appear to be one thing today and another tomorrow, bringing innocent yet unaware believers to his side, to be fleeced by his minions and cohorts, while he yet lingers with the people, secretly sucking on their energies and living off of their virtues. He positions himself to cause them to believe that he suffers as they do. He feels the pain which they bear, all the while growing fat from their energies, enshrined by their attention. He stores up so much of their moral power, he is able to produce monsters out of it, reflections, illusions which resemble himself, appearing to be caring and comforting. These doppelgangers, these abominations, he uses as diversions for his escape. He yet his destination is never far. For without the will of the many people propel him, he is more or less a flightless creature. A creature of almost no substance and no will other than to survive. A cosmic nomad of nefarious origins, he has stumbled upon this planet, exiled from all other sentient civilized systems he once haunted. A being not so much living as lived, existing mainly within the lower baser regions of the mind. Partial to no particular environment, complexion, or political system, he is a bounty hunter, a mercenary who subcontracts his work to willing yet unaware volunteers who forfeit their true profits to him. To the victor go the spoils, but to the Negro goes a more lively and valuable treasure. Like a leech, he grows off of the lifeblood of the living, infecting others and leading them to an existence of the same. An existence that projects scarcity where there is abundance, fear where there is love, and darkness that can only pretend covers light. Honors to the prophet Noble Drew Ali for leading us out of the darkness and into the marvelous light, and for reminding us that we are not Negro, black, or colored, but Moors, much more.
I was searching for a better way, and then I found you, Ale.